Candace Box here, your Master Soul Alchemist, spiritual healer, and conscious relationship coach. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Happy Friday the 13th, which is a very lucky day. I love Friday the 13th. It's almost like magic. Everything is beautiful and amazing if you so believe, right? This is an awesome day because a lot of times we are in this place where we are in this relationship with how we say things that is not always congruent to how we would like to say them. And what I mean by that is our word is so powerful. How we say things, what we say is like creating and manifesting the universe, right? So thought comes in through our crown chakra. It activates our third, and we begin to envision ourselves and see ourselves in a particular way, or we imagine things that give us an opportunity to create things or to go into story and recreate the past. And then from there, we begin to bring it down to our throat chakra and we begin to share things. And from here, when we share, we're exchanging ideas, we're communicating what we value, we are communicating who we are. And in that, like all these key codes are coming out of your mouth and literally creating in what's called the quantum field. Now, the quantum field is this big soup of absolute nothingness and everything at the same time. It's creative potential, it's space for everything, right? And here, what we do is when we say it, we're actually already creating. So, what I wanted to talk about is keeping your word. Right now, our word is so powerful that it can, like, literally cut through things and destroy, or cut through things and inspire. And when we're not careful with our word, it can cause pain to ourselves and pain to others, right? So we want to be very mindful of our words. And oftentimes, sometimes we just need to vent, right? And venting is so powerful, so good, but we don't do it in a safe container that allows us to release and process through things. So when we are venting and spewing all of our words, it really is like attacks on other people. It really is pain to other people, and then it causes suffering, right? So we want to be very mindful of our words because even it hurts ourselves, right? And what I mean about this is oftentimes we say the things that we want to do and we make these promises and we put it out there, not knowing that literally we are already setting ourselves up for failure sometimes, right? Now, it's really important that when we keep our word, we keep integrity with our word. And when we keep integrity with our word, we are wholly committing to what we say we're going to do, right? And if you aren't going to do it that way, then it's really important to like speak it out loud and course correct and really get on board with what you can do. Because, yeah, we do over promise, and sometimes we over promise at the expense of what we think everyone else will say is okay, what everyone else says it's approved of, what everyone else will say then that makes you worthy, right? But then when we don't meet that, then we literally beat up on ourselves and hold ourselves hostage, and it's not fair to you or fair to others, right? Because our word is so powerful, and we're looking for it, we're waiting for it. We're like, are you going to say what you mean? Are you going to say what you're going to do? And if not, can you support yourself so that you can be in alignment with your truth, right? So I'm very familiar with this because for myself, I used to do it all the time where I would basically say, yes, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say yes to this, and I'm going to say yes to that, and say yes to this. And then I overcommitted myself, right? And now I'm like freaked out, worried, and then how am I going to fulfill all these agreements that now I have committed myself to, and I don't want to do any of it. And that's what happens when we overcommit, then we get like overwhelmed, and then we basically can go into what is called a shutdown. And the shutdown keeps us from actually doing anything because our bodies, our minds are like, this is way too much, and we got to shut down so that then we can equilibrate to go, what do we really need? But sometimes in that shutdown, we like hide ourselves away from the world, and we let phone calls go on answered. We let, all these things go undone because now we feel so hidden inside, right? We feel ashamed of what we've committed to. So it's really important to like give yourself time, right? To say, let me get back to you on that. Let me see if that really sits well with me, right? Instead of saying yes all the time, we say yes all the time to everything. And it's because we want to support. Maybe we feel obligated. Maybe we just want to look good, right? I mean, that's definitely an answer too. But ultimately, if we can just give ourselves some space in between the ask, that then we can really tune in and see if it's in alignment with ourselves, then it would go like a whole heck of a lot easier for you and the other person, right? Because truly, a lot of us are running around resentful and even bitter because we've said yes to all these things, but ultimately, who is the one that's going to suffer? Ourselves, right? So we want to bring everything back to ourselves, to our word, to be in integrity with our word, and being able to then deliver what we say we're going to do. Because guess what? When we do that, it produces so much more energy. It gives us so much more confidence. It gives us more trust. And it also sets us up for success, right? Now, I'm not saying to never make an agreement and never to use your words to say things. Like sometimes we do like want to talk things out, right? And if you're going to talk things out and like see how that rolls, great. Like state that. Like I really want to just talk this out so that I can figure out how this is going to work, right? But sometimes when you share it from that perspective too, some people are like, well, let me help you with that. Let me fix you. Let me share some advice, right? Where it's really important to say, hey, I don't need any advice, but I really need a sounding board to really go through this information so I can work it out and see if it actually will support me and support the other person, right? And then the words are being used to like find a solution for yourself, right? And women need to do that. We love to talk. We like to like work things out. But the thing is sometimes we just say all the things and we don't realize we're already creating perceptions and also judgments and ways we look at things that then we're looking for an agreement or maybe even a disagreement that then can perpetuate chaos or conflict. And so these words that we say, there's so much. So if we can keep an integrity with our word and say the things that we were going to do, then it's going to be so much easier, right? So that means we've got to take that sacred pause and really, really dive deep into what we can commit to, right? I'm working with this group right now, and they had brought this topic up. And I mulled it over in my head because I realized like I really want to commit to myself and to others in a way that I am in integrity and in my truth, because that means a lot to me, right? And so for me, it's like being able to see like, okay, where am I? What am I willing to commit to and break through so that I can make what I want to happen, right? And so for me, it's my health and my business, my relationships, right? These are different aspects of our lives that all need attention and all need, support. And I call them the four pillars. And these four pillars are your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And when we can look at those individually and realize they connect together to build a whole, we give ourselves an opportunity to like rise up in consciousness, rise up in our way of living, and feel more in alignment with ourselves. So for me, my physical is really keeping my word to my running group, being able to be there when I am able to be there, and letting them know when I am able to be there and not able to be there. So with that, then it keeps me accountable and keeps me connected, and it keeps me in a place where I feel good about my health and my body. With my relationship right now, I'm really committed to my husband, and I'm in a place right now where I want to spend time with him and communicate with him and build like this deeper intimacy. But if I'm always busy all the time, it doesn't work, right? So I make it a point to really, when he speaks with me, like to sit down, look at him now, and be present with him and listen to his words and offer feedback if he asks for it. But most importantly, just sit and listen, right? And that's been a commitment of mine that I've been practicing on this whole week, because I've noticed where I just tune out or I do other things, and I want to be present so I can create this loving relationship with him, right? And then we have our mental. The mental is all about how we do things in the world, like our career or how we show up in the community, right? Right now I'm building my personal business, and I want to show up fully for my audience and for my clients and students. And so it was my commitment to do one video a week for them, so that then I can put myself out there and the ideas, right? And it's still scary for me. I know I'm here sharing with you, but it's not always easy to press the live button and say hello. I get all these nerves and I feel self-conscious. So it's important for me, like, to commit to one each week, and then anything after that is like a bonus, right? And then spiritually, like, I just took a 4-day workshop, an advanced workshop on my spiritual clearing, and I realized how amazing it is to just check in on myself, clear any programs I might have, so that I have more of an optimal day that I can work with, right? And because of that, I feel so much clearer. I feel so much more connected to God, creator, source. And in those things, like, they're like small little movements in each one of them, but I'm keeping my integrity to those things because I value them. They're important to me. And because I value them and they're important to me, I make them a priority and I keep my word to those things. Now, am I gonna falter here and there? Of course, but it's not to beat myself up. It's to remember. It's like, oh, I'm keeping my word to this. Then I'll begin again, right? That way, it's not like, oh, I didn't do one day and now I'll beat myself up. So it's important to go, okay, what are the things I can really commit to right now fully, so that then I build the confidence within myself, so that then I can show up in the way that I can show up, that I don't overcommit, overpromise, and then I can show up with the people around me that are counting on me, that are looking towards me, that are really like feeling inspired by me. And then I show up for them too, because it's not always about me, it's also about everyone else, right? Because if we say we're going to do these things and we don't, then people on the other end are like, well, hello, where'd she go? I thought she was going to follow up with me on a call. I thought she was going to do this. I thought she was going to do that. And that can be so heartbreaking to the other person. And oftentimes that's where we then begin to go, well, they cancel all the time. They say things, they don't do it. And then we kind of begin to write them off, right? Like, I used to be that person and I don't want to be that person anymore. So I want to be like, let me get back to you on that. Let me see if my schedule permits. Let me see if I have the energy for that, and I'll get back to you. And then people see that, and then they follow along and they feel that in their own lives, and then boom, like, we're all being in integrity, right? So let's learn to keep integrity with our word. Be mindful of the words we're saying, because it can do harm in multiple arenas, but it also can inspire, right? And be mindful when there's times you want to process, when you want to just let things out. Who are you sharing it with, where someone can hold a non judgmental, compassionate space for you, so that all those words can empty out into what I call as an imaginary trash. And that way, as they're processing through this information, they really empty out to get to their ultimate truth in the inside, which is this information that they know is perfect and best for them, because it's like coming in from a clear channel from themselves, from their soul, right? So Words are powerful. What are we creating? What are you wanting to create in your life right now? Allow yourself to speak it and know that as you speak it, it will come true, because this is our manifesting tool. This is our song to sing. This is what is the energetic current vibration that's being sent out for our words to attract and to bring it to us and to push it out and give it to others, right? I mean, that's why speeches are so powerful, when people speak these powerful words. And if someone is in integrity with it, you can feel it, because it's being spoken not from here, but from their whole entire being, right? So speak from your whole entire being. Have that integrity with your word. Be mindful of your words, and let's use it to create something amazing and fantastic, especially with what you're doing here for your health, for your mind, for your spirit, for yourself, for your family, for the world, right? So if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll also share this with you via email if you're part of the list. Thank you so much. Love, light, and aloha.